Hey there, folks. Welcome to the program. Grant Stinchfield here. What in the world happened to the audit of Fort Knox? Everybody was talking about this just a few months ago. President Trump saying, we're going to go down. We're going to make sure the gold is there. Elon Musk says he's going to personally live stream the audit of Fort Knox. Do you know Fort Knox has not been audited since 1974? Not a real audit, anyway. They say it's been audited over the years. Not true, at least not in the audit that we need to have happen in Fort Knox. So there was a lot of momentum behind this. And then all of a sudden, poof, it went away. Why? Is the gold not there? Is it like tungsten bars that look like gold? Is it gold-plated bars? I mean, look, we're supposed to have 5,500 tons of gold in Fort Knox. That has a value around $430, $450 billion. All right? That's a lot of gold. The crazy thing, though, is we keep it on the books at the value of $6.2 billion, $42 an ounce, back when we started to put it in there. So here's where the scam can occur. If you're valuing it at $6.2 billion, but the real value is $430 billion, someone goes in and steals one of those giant gold bars that they have. They're worth about $1 million. You won't even know it's gone. Now, how long would it take to audit Fort Knox? I actually looked into this. By many accounts, you'd need 20 people working a total of 44,000 man hours. It would take them 18 months to literally weigh and test every gold bar in Fort Knox. The other way you could do it is a random audit. But how about we do it? And, you know, David Sachs, who's the AI czar for the White House, made a very good point. When everybody's talking about let's audit Fort Knox, nobody blinked about it. So this is David Sachs.
I mean, I think the gold is probably there. I think the gold is almost certainly there, but nobody thinks it's a crazy idea to go check because we don't know. That's how bad the corruption has gotten in Washington, is that we can't fully trust that our gold is still in Fort Knox. I think the majority of the American people are distrustful, and we've seen that the corruption in Washington is rampant. That is,
I mean, he's inside the White House. The AI and crypto czar is saying, hey, I don't know if it's there or not. We can't trust anybody in Washington to tell us it's there. And you've got Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, who just recently made this declaration as President Trump went quiet on the audit of Fort Knox, as Elon Musk went quiet on the audit of Fort Knox. Now we're supposed to believe the Treasury Secretary when he declares this, when asked, are you going to go audit?
That comes under your purview. Do you have any plans to visit Kentucky?
I don't have any plans. I can tell you that we do an audit every year. I can tell the American people on camera right now that there was a report September 30th, 2024. All the gold is there. Any U.S. senator who wants to come and visit it can arrange a visit through our office.
Gold.
So here's the problem. That was September, before this administration took over. I don't trust anything coming out of the Biden administration. So you've got, look, I don't trust anything coming out of any administration, quite frankly, at least with the deep state at work. And so he wants us to believe it's there, but he's not going to go put eyes on it himself when Elon Musk said he would. President Trump said he might go down there and look at it himself. So imagine if it wasn't there. Imagine if $450 billion went poof from Fort Knox. I don't think that's the case. I think the gold is probably there, but I think there may be some missing. They put seals on many of these vaults. I think there's 13 to 15 vaults in Fort Knox. They put these massive seals that haven't been opened in decades. And yet he's telling us they've been audited. I'm being told that, folks, just simply is not true. So if someone wanted to, I mean, you could sneak gold out if you were someone on the inside, and it would barely be missed, just 1 or 2 bars. How would you know if you're not keeping inventory checks all the time on these things? How do you know they hadn't been replaced with tungsten gold bars? People would be off in who knows where. So again, if that was to happen, oh my Lord, could you imagine our monetary system would collapse? I think the stock market would collapse along with it. But you know what would go up if there was no gold in Fort Knox? The price of gold would go up. I can tell you that much. Look, gold is a great inflation hedge. And so President Trump talked about this as well, folks. Let me play you President Trump, what he said.
And I'm going to do something. I'm actually going on this one. You know, all my life I've heard about Fort Knox. That's where the gold is kept, right? I heard Fort Knox. Oh, but you know, we're getting a little bit shaky. We're getting the yips on this stuff. Like, I want to find out. So we're going to open up the doors. I'm going to see if we have gold there. We want to find out. Did anybody steal the gold in Fort Knox? It's a pretty amazing place, but I'm going to actually go. We're going to open the doors. We're going to inspect Fort Knox. We want to make sure that we actually have, you know, 400 tons of gold or whatever the hell it is. It's a lot of gold. I don't want to open it and the cupboards are bare. Could happen.
Folks, this is why I love gold, and specifically certain gold stocks. Listen to me and listen to me carefully on this one. Did you see President Trump's new executive order unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential? It reads, folks, and I quote, "The state of Alaska holds an abundant and largely untapped supply of natural resources, including, among others, energy, mineral, timber, and seafood." President Trump indicated he wants to develop Alaska's resources to the fullest extent possible. The executive order directs U.S. policy to fully avail itself of Alaska's vast lands and resources for the benefit of the nation. As you can see in this graph, gold stocks have a tremendous gap to close compared with gold spot price. Spot price has soared, which is why, folks, I am bullish on the gold stocks right now. Look, Bank of America's chief investment officer is predicting a weaker dollar cycle, as you can see in this chart. So check this out. With no debt and approximately 3.9 million cash and cash equivalents as of the end of last December, and a project in Alaska, the sponsor of today's video is USGO, trading on the NASDAQ with the ticker symbol USGO. The stock is trading, as of early May, some 40% below its all-time high. At its April 2023 IPO, gold was worth $1,930 an ounce. Now, gold is trading at an all-time high, yet USGO's share price is still around its IPO price, down 40% from its all-time high. This is important. Its flagship Whistler Gold Copper Silver project includes 3 gold deposits with a combined estimated mineral resource of 6.5 million ounces gold equivalent in the indicated category, plus an additional 4.2 million gold equivalent ounces in the inferred category. And here's what's hard to believe. One shareholder, owns 80% of the company. So this is about as a unique scenario as it gets, my friends. And on top of that, the most critical development, and in my personal opinion, a huge potential value driver, comes from the Trump administration's attitude towards Alaska. This is the governor of Alaska, Mike Dunleavy, with, of course, President Trump. Plus, the CEO of U.S. GoldMining recently toured their Whistler project in Alaska with the governor of Alaska, Dunleavy himself. Tim Smith, the CEO, came to U.S. GoldMining from Newmont, a 100-year-old gold producer. It's one of the largest gold mining companies in the world. He also worked for Kaminak, which discovered the coffee deposit in the Yukon and advanced the resource until Goldcorp acquired it for, you ready for this, $520 million, one of the most significant buyouts of the past decade. The CEO of U.S. GoldMining was part of that team that sold the coffee gold deposit owned by Kaminak to Goldcorp back in 2016. This is one of the big reasons he was recruited to become the CEO of USGO, so that he can utilize his skill set and work towards a similar goal for U.S. GoldMining. With gold recently at $3,400 an ounce, the best performing major asset class in 2025 by far, with Trump's massive executive order for the benefit of the state of Alaska, with one major corporate shareholder owning 80% of USGO stock, and with a CEO that is literally fit for this role. Do your own homework on USGO trading on the NASDAQ. Do that homework. Do it now. All right? That's going to do it for us. I'm Grant Stinchfield. Thanks for watching.